So today, Hims and Hers just hit a record all-time high. I'm currently up over 400% on my position. Well, I'm actually up like 430% on my position from today's move. And I said I was going to do the stocks I'm buying series today, but I was just really short on time. That video normally takes like 6-7 hours to put together, and I don't have that long to put that video together today. So I'll do that on Sunday for you guys. And as well as that, if I went back to me in 2022 and I said I've just come up 400% on Hims and Hers and I'm not making a video bragging about it, I'd be really upset with myself. So today I'm going to do that video talking about Hims and Hers and how much we're up. And I'll also talk about the future of Hims and Hers and where it could go. And that old one of, I think Hims at $3.11 is uninvestable. Andy Pickering, 13th of May, 2022. It just gets better and better, that poster, doesn't it? I tell you, I don't know if we need to do a new batch of them. Let me know in the comment section. I think I could do another batch of 30 posters if you guys do want to see it. But poor Andy Pickering. I mean, if you put 10, like a smaller position in there even, like a £10,000 dollars into that position now, I mean, at $3.11, you're talking about the ability to go buy a rental property with that. You could even go buy a pretty decent supercar with that. And all that was missed out because it was uninvestable. I mean, we've not heard from Andy P for about 6 months now. Andy P, I hope you're doing well out there. Let me know you're all right. You seem to be suffering since these times, guys. Apart from that, let's get started. So I'll do the stocks I'm buying series on Sunday for you guys, either the UK or the US one. So I'll get that out for you then and do a weekend video. On the Patreon over the weekend though, I will be doing a review of earnings. I'll do a review of Evolution's earnings. I'll do a review of some of the UK earnings and then some of the US earnings. So I'll try and get 3 separate earnings videos for you guys out on the Patreon this weekend. But Hims having a fantastic day today, really rallying up. Well, my stock chart hasn't rallied up. Let's just refresh that there. So yeah, up 6% today, and it is at 52-week highs. In the last year, the stock is up 319%, which is just amazing. And obviously for me, that is my largest holding. It is the reason why we have been outperforming the market in the last few years, because obviously when you have a stock as your largest position and it's done this return, you're going to be doing really well. So congratulations to any of you Hims and Hers shareholders as well. So like I said, I think if I looked at myself back in 2022 and I said to myself in 2022 when we were going through the worst stock market since 2008, and I said to myself, you know that stock that you've been banging on about, you know that stock that you made multiple videos on, 3 years ago, look at that. Even in the old room before we moved to this one here, I definitely look at a lot less wrinkles there as well. And this one here, can Hims and Hers 5x? And yes, it can 5x. Look at that, even on the video it says there $6.89. Wow, yes, it has 5x. I was one of the first ever stock market YouTubers out here talking about this stock, and I probably should talk about it and give myself a little credit for it, because sometimes when stocks go wrong, everybody's out there to say, oh, you talked about this stock and this stock's gone down. But Hims and Hers, this is one of the stocks that's my large position, one of the ones that I really banged on about. And the returns that it's being made on here, not to try and like big yourself up a little bit, but you are the kind of reason why someone might have turned a amount of money into a 6-figure, 7-figure amount. You could be the reason why someone has actually been able to go out and buy a Lamborghini. It's actually really good feeling when you do kind of realize that. And it's just fantastic, isn't it? It's also the key thing to remember that Hims and Hers is the reason why it's always good to be a long-term investor. The most the stock can go down is 100%, and obviously you never want a stock to go down 100%. But when you look at someone like a Hims and Hers, it's also the reason why you want to go long and have the belief in some of these stocks, because stocks have unlimited upside. The most you can lose is 100%. The most you can make is more than 100%, 200%, 300%, 500%, 1000%. The upside is unlimited on stocks, and this is what the thing is that you might get two stocks wrong, 3 stocks wrong, 4 stocks wrong, but you get that one stock that really hits. You get that one stock that hits that home run. Do you know how many stocks that makes up for? That if you ever get them wrong, that's the powerful thing when you have a stock like this. And it's also why one of the key ways you outperform the stock market. I remember Peter Lynch talking about this on One Up on Wall Street, is that if you can really get one of those home runs, this is how you outperform the market. And obviously for me, this is my home run, and hopefully it's a home run for some of you guys as well. So the question is, can Hims and Hers carry on its rally going forward? And my answer to that is maybe. As a long-term investor, I definitely think that there's potential that Hims and Hers carries on performing. I will say 83 times earnings for me now is a very fair valuation. I'd say maybe even a bit of an overvalued valuation potentially, a bit slightly overvalued potentially. So I'd say it's definitely a little bit more on the bubbly side now. Nothing too crazy, but I definitely don't think it's cheap. I'm seeing a lot of people trying to jump in it that have missed the boat now. I've seen a few YouTubers starting to talk about it and maybe a little late to the party, I don't know. But with the Hims and Hers stock, I think it all just comes down to what numbers they do. I think next week is when they've got earnings. If it's not, it's the week after. I've not actually looked, to be fair. Probably should have done before doing this video. But the reason why the stock's been so able to outperform is if you look at like the current numbers, so 2024 numbers, we're expecting 0.87 in EPS. Just to show you how far ahead they managed to get this year. At the start, well, I say the start, on April 2024, the average estimate was 0.05. So they've gone from 0.05 to 0.87. That is one of the main reasons why the stock has rallied so much, because they haven't just beaten the numbers, they're so far ahead of the numbers. They're even further ahead than even what I potentially thought they could do, which is, absolutely amazing. The other key thing is obviously on the revenue side of it. 2024 in April time, the company was expected to do 35% this year, or last year should I say, and they're going to probably do around about 67%. So major, you're talking nearly double improvement. And in 2025, the numbers have already started to hike up. 0.98, if we look at where they were in April 2024, 0.2. It's major amounts, and 24% revenue growth. And already this year, the high 42% growth is expected this year. So yeah, it shows you how high the numbers have got now with it. The only issue is that it does make it a little bit tricky for Hims and Hers, because before, the numbers were so low down. Like I remember saying to you guys on videos going, these numbers that analysts are forecasting, they're going to be way ahead of this. I remember making this video here about these numbers and going like, this is at least going to be 40%. And we're all obviously already there. The only thing is that we're already at the start of the year and they're already putting those higher numbers in. It might be a little bit tricky for Hims and Hers now because the numbers are so high. Analysts are getting a little bit more switched on to the actual growth numbers that they're actually going to do. I mean, the thing that could really push it on for another great year is that if they actually come in with 2025 numbers, the EPS, the revenue growth is, actually gets increased rapidly to like 7 to 8% growth. That could maybe, get it to have a, crazy year. If EPS is, $1.20, $1.30, that might be the other reason why. But the issue is that there is a lot more kind of higher numbers kind of priced and expected by analysts now. So it's kind of lost that surprise element slightly. However, we know of Hims and Hers, they can, put in crazy numbers, but just be aware of that. And obviously, as the numbers gets higher, it's, it is trickier comps for them. So just be aware of that. I mean, looking at the numbers with Hims and Hers, I put 15, 20, 25% revenue growth in. You can argue the case that potentially that's a little bit low growth, but we obviously don't want to get too carried away. I put 5, 7, 10% profit margin in. I think they're already at like a 5% profit margin. I would probably expect them to get to a 10% profit margin in the next 5 years in 2029. 20 times earnings, and yeah, there's not really much kind of upside in the business, but obviously they're like really basic numbers. I would expect the company to probably trade a little higher than 20 times earnings because it is a premium company. I don't like going, I don't like assuming like 80, 100 time multiples. But if you were just to kind of expect like, a 40 times earnings, I don't think that's kind of too crazy to kind of predict. If we do go at 40 times earnings, there's actually still a bit of upside here in the stock here. And if you think I've been a little bit too low on these revenue growth numbers, maybe we just put them up to like 25% revenue growth. Let's go 30 and we'll go 30. That's very optimistic to be fair, but we'll do it. 35% revenue growth. Yeah, look at that. There's still plenty of upside if you think they can carry on with good amounts of growth here. And probably if they did do that growth, the earnings multiple actually isn't too bad at all at 40 times. I think you could even argue the case that the market might even put it slightly higher, maybe 60 times. So looking at the numbers really with Hims and Hers, yeah, to be fair, like the days of it being cheap are gone now. Like the days when I were buying it in 2022 and the company was working out at like 34 times earnings or something crazy like that. Them days are gone now. Hims and Hers is no longer like just a bargain bargain stock where it was like unbelievable. Like the days where it was going from fantastic numbers and yet the stock still fell from like $6 down to $3. Them days are kind of gone now with Hims and Hers. You missed the really complete bargain days. As a stock, yeah, it probably still has upside, to be fair. I mean, I wouldn't like to be deciding if I was buying in or if I'm not going to buy in. For me, I don't have to worry about that one. I've already got my position in it. As a long-term investor, really, now in my position, I'm still going to hold the majority of it, because obviously if they do execute to the standard that they have been doing, I don't want to assume crazy numbers, but if they do keep doing the crazy numbers they have been doing, that high kind of 20-30% revenue growth, if they do go to that multiple expansion that they have been on, yeah, I think there's still good upside in the next 5 years on Hims and Hers. And I won't be selling the stock, even though I'm up on a 5-bagger on this stock right now. An extra 100% return for me here puts me onto a 10-bagger with my average. So certainly I'm not anywhere close to selling Hims and Hers position, because I still think there's still good upside, especially if they execute onto like the level that they have been doing. So I am going to hold the majority of my shares. There might be points where maybe I trim a bit of a position, but for now there's not really any change of plan really. I think Hims and Hers is obviously a key part of my portfolio, and I think in the next few years it still might do very well. What will be key is if they do grow at those higher rates for sure going forward. But yeah, I've got no plans to sell, and I'm happy to hold my shares because I still think there's pretty good upside here. So happy altogether. Thanks for watching, guys, and well done to any of you Hims and Hers shareholders, and I'll try get a stocks I'm buying video out to you guys over on Sunday. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in a bit.